Hello again, guys. Hello. And now I'm going to talk about something very interesting too. Do you really have an intermediate level? Do you really have an intermediate level? Because this has a beginning and an ending, just like everything else, just like life. As you guys already know, my definition about intermediate level, intermediate, and intermediate, so I won't be repeating myself again. The thing is, sometimes we think that we have an intermediate level, but we don't. Sometimes we think that we have an upper intermediate level, and we don't. And sometimes we think that we already reached a low intermediate level, and we haven't yet. We're still high beginners. That's why I don't like to say that I speak this language. No, I'm still low intermediate in Swedish, Finnish, and Galician. And I understand pretty damn well Galician. I can understand Galician pretty damn well because it's almost Portuguese Spanish accent, just like it looks like. Though I believe that my knowledge about Galician is still low intermediate, very near intermediate, but still low intermediate. Same thing goes, for instance, for Finnish. But the thing is, I can start speaking Finnish a little bit. I don't speak Finnish very well, but I already can speak a little bit Finnish. But when it comes to understanding, it's different. It's different because I can't. I lose myself along the way. That's the problem. When I was in Sweden recently for 4 days, and I liked it a lot. I tried to speak Swedish, and in some circumstances, I spoke Swedish to the hostel guy. With the hostel guy, I spoke Swedish with a couple of girls in a bar. I spoke Swedish. Those were the main opportunities I had to speak Swedish. And then I spoke Swedish with sometime. Okay, let's try it in Swedish at the restaurant. Let's try it in Swedish. So I would like this, I would like that, and yes, there was another opportunity that I had another occasion. So I spoke Swedish 3 times for real. I mean, I tried to do the best that I can, which was with the girls at the bar, with the guy at the hostel, and there was one day it was raining cats and dogs, and then we found shelter in a cafe. So it wasn't exactly a bar, and I spoke a little bit Swedish with the girl too. But my Swedish is not an intermediate level yet. It's low intermediate, walking towards an intermediate level, but it's still low intermediate. It's still low intermediate because when they speak, I can't understand. I mean, I understand, but I lose myself on the way. I would say that if you have an upper intermediate level, if you do say that you have an upper intermediate level, then you should understand everything you hear or read. If you don't understand you should understand 75% of everything you hear and read. If you have an upper intermediate level, if you can't, that's my opinion. Just like always, I don't copy opinions from everyone else. I make my own opinions and my own ideas. I'm a philosopher. So if you can, if you're watching a movie or watching TV, or if you're talking with someone and you can't understand 75% of what they're saying, at least 75% of what they're saying, you can say that you have an upper intermediate level. For me, an upper intermediate level lies between 3,000 and 4,000 words, knowing that with the enough fluency. So if you can't understand in a movie or in a conversation, an everyday conversation whatsoever, 75% of what people are telling you, you don't have an upper intermediate level. Now talking about intermediate level, between 2,000 and 3,000 words. But 3,000 words, it will be already an upper intermediate level. So let's be a little bit more real, and let's say 2,000, 2,500 words, which is intermediate level, even a little bit more than 2,500 words. But let's see, once we're talking about being near upper intermediate level, so let's spot the intermediate level, knowing between 2,000 and 2,500 words, which will be, according to my new personal definition, between 2,000 words and 2,750 words. Because once you know 2,750 words, you will be at the threshold of the intermediate and upper intermediate level. But let's spot between intermediate between 2000 and 2500 words. So with an intermediate level, if you can't understand at least 50%, between 50 and 60% of what you hear on TV or whatsoever of a conversation, if you can't understand between 50 and 60% of a conversation, you can say that you have an intermediate level. And the same thing goes for a low intermediate level. But when we're talking about the low intermediate level, it's hard, because if you know 1,500 words, you'll have a low intermediate level. I'm confusing myself, man. Yeah. If you know 1,500 words or even 1,200 words, it will be the very beginning of the low intermediate level. But so at its most, you will understand 40% of what you hear in an everyday conversation or in a movie. But this is the hard way. This is the hard thing. This is really the hard thing, because I consider myself having a low intermediate in Swedish and Finnish. But if I watch a movie in Swedish or Finnish, I won't be able to understand not even 25% of it. Not even 25% of it. Why? Because of new words here, new words there, and then in case of Finnish, which is a local native language, so when we're talking about Finnish, if you miss one word, you will miss the whole sentence. If you miss two words, you will miss the whole dialogue, maybe. So that's the problem with low intermediate level. But so when I say low intermediate level, I'm not talking about watching movies then. I'm talking about having an everyday conversation. Having an everyday conversation, I believe that I can say that if you can understand 40% of it, you have a low intermediate level. If you can't, you're near that low intermediate level. But if you understand something, but you can't still understand everything, so I would say that you're still near a low intermediate level, or you're there at the very beginning of it. The thing is, I talked about movies, because movies, if you're talking about a language just like Finnish, if you put on subtitles, you will understand 40% of it, and then you have a low intermediate level. If you don't understand 40% of it, you won't have a low intermediate level. But even though talking about languages such as Finnish, it's hard. For instance, Swedish, if I put on subtitles in Swedish, I believe I can be near 40%, sometimes less, of course, but or 30%, or 40%, depending on the movie, depending on the quality of language. But without subtitles, I won't be able to do that. That's why I say that low intermediate level, you stay there for a long time. And then in intermediate level until you reach an upper intermediate level, same thing will happen. You will be there for a long period of time, because it's hard. It's hard. So I can say that I have a low intermediate level because I am able to communicate with Swedish and Finnish people. With Swedish and Finnish people, I am able to communicate. But when they start speaking, I lose myself. That's the problem. But I can communicate in a good range, not so good, but in a sort of not a good range, but in a different kind of context and situations. So I can say that I have a low intermediate level. And now talking about Galician, I say that I have a low intermediate level, but if I see a movie, I would understand more than 75% of it. I will, because it's very similar to Portuguese, and I'm versed in Spanish. I will understand more than 75% of it. So I would say that I have an upper intermediate level. No, I have a low intermediate level too. The thing is, it's so similar to my mother tongue, and my Spanish is very good, so I will understand most of it. If I skip one word or 2 words or 3 words, it won't affect the context. The context of the conversation won't be affected. I don't understand what that means, but I understood everything else. So I would understand 70-75%. That's why I don't understand 70 or 75%, in Finnish because of the grammar, because of the non-similarity to my mother tongue, because of that. I was able to speak a little bit Finnish in France and at a festival, Hellfest, a metal festival, and I did okay. In my limitation, that low intermediate level, it wasn't bad. I could say a lot of things. The thing is, I understood because they didn't talk that much. They didn't talk that much. And when I wasn't understanding, they spoke in English. But if they were answering me in Finnish, I would lose myself along the way, of course. So low intermediate level, it's hard to define. It's look at this, man. It's the hardest thing to define, because as I said before, Galician, I will understand a lot. I will understand a lot. But Swedish or Finnish, principally Finnish, I won't understand that good. So that's it, guys. Think about this. Upper intermediate level, you understand 75% of everything you hear. Intermediate level, 50-60%. And then there's the strangest thing, which is low intermediate level, which you can understand 40% or 70%, but you will still be on a low intermediate level, depending if that language is close to your language. So that's it, guys. See you again.